In our Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson wrote something so much that we really need to think about it. We take it for granted, but we need to really think about it. When he wrote, "We hold this truth to be sacred and undeniable, that all men, women, and children are created equal and independent. And then from that equal creation, they derive inherent and unalienable rights, among which are the preservation of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." But you know who today doesn't have those rights any longer? Our children. When our children go to school today, we have no idea whether they're going to come back or not. We think that it used to happen in the bad schools. Really, it's happening in the good schools. In the Christian private school recently, we're having mass shootings every other day in America. But our children are dying, and parents are scared, and they send their kids to school with fear, or are they going to come back? It should never be like that. But why? Really, it's our fault. And why do I mean by that? When you look at elected officials, that is the exact word, elected. It doesn't seem like we care who we send to Washington. Do we even care what they stand for? Do they even care that they're going to fight for the most sacred of our possession? It is not even our faith. The most sacred thing that this world has given us, that God has given us, is our children. And the most sacred responsibility we have is to protect our children. So how can we best protect our children? We best protect them by seeing who we elect, so that they can pass sensible laws that can prevent crazy and just unimaginable mass shootings in our schools. People say, well, if we arm the police, if we have people in our classrooms armed in our schools, that'll prevent crazy people from coming. Well, let me tell you something. I know something about assault rifles. We used to have a lot of them in the cartel. And you know what? Put someone in front of me with a gun and give me an assault rifle with an idiot that doesn't even know how to use it, and watch who wins. They just know it doesn't make sense. But then again, we're talking about arming people in our schools, and yet we don't even spend money in our schools. It is sad that teachers can make more working for Wendy's than they can teaching the future leaders of this world. So what a hypocrisy from our elected officials. And I'm not talking about all of them. There's some really great people serving our country. But I'm talking about the majority that, the ones that would say, well, there was nothing that can be done. We need to focus on mental health or our thoughts and prayers. Look, my child dies, or anybody's child dies. You know what I'm going to tell you? Stick your thoughts and prayer where it doesn't shine, because they don't mean nothing. It's pure hypocrisy. Look at the money that you take. Look at the senator from Tennessee, Marshburn. She took over $1.3 million from the NRA. Why? So that she would make sure that they will not pass any sensible gun laws. Look, I believe in our rights to carry a firearm, but it should be responsible. We have a right to drive a car, or is it a privilege? If it's a privilege, then owning a firearm should be a privilege too. And then why can't we take exams? Why can't we take training? Why can't we do like England, where to have a firearm, you must have a proper place to store that firearm, and that everybody that has one, everyone, is, numbered and kept track with. If you got nothing to hide, you don't care what the government knows. Listen, there was time when I was in the cartel that I didn't want the government to know my moves. Today, I don't give a damn. They can hack all my phones. They can hack my home. They can put microphone, because I'm not doing nothing to break the law. And if you fear nothing, if you are not afraid of them coming after you, well, then don't break the law. But it's very, very sad that we continue to elect these people that don't give a damn. Think about it, man. The greatest country on God's earth, and we can't protect the greatest gift that God's given us, our children. My children have made it through schools, but my grandchildren are in schools now. So the cycle doesn't end. And as a grandparent, I cry and worry for them. And that's why my wife and I spend every morning praying for our grandchildren by name, that God will put a veil of protection over them. But it's really, really sad that the things that we can do to really think about who we elect and send to Washington that will represent us and not the special interest groups, we can do that. Citizens have that right. We don't live in a dictatorship. We live in a democracy. Elected officials just don't walk up to Washington and say, hey, I am your elected official. No, we put them there. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, atheist or Christian, Jewish, whatever you are in life. We can have all the great differences that we want to have in life. But there's one thing that we all have in common, or at least we should, care about our children. You know, I think about Pablo Escobar being one of the most heinous persons I ever met. Unbelievable. But you know what he did? He loved his family. Loved it. To the point of giving up his life. Yes, he gave up his life to save his family. Because he knew that that's how they were going to continue to go after him. Go after the family. And if someone like that is willing to give up his life to save his family, what are you willing to do? You know, I have faith that this younger generation is going to do something because they care. They seem to be more sensible. We knock down this new young generation. We say that, oh, they're just addicted to electronics and all that. But you know what? A lot of them, yes, they play games, but a lot of them are consumed. And they're consumed with information. And most of the ones I talk to are just so angry about guns out of control in America. No background checks. Anybody can own a gun. This lady who apparently, or man, whoever it was, apparently had mental issues. Went out and just bought a gun. And we talk about, oh, it's not about the guns, it's about mental illness that we need to address. Every country in the world has mental illness. Or are we the only country in the world with mental illness? Are we, America? The rest of the world doesn't have it? Because the rest of the world, if mental illness is the reason for all this mass shooting, then the rest of the world must not have any mental illness because they don't have these crazy mass shootings. Ain't that something? That we're supposed to be the world leader. That we care more about anybody. That we care about others. That we help the world. Can't help our children. The greatest gift in our life. The greatest gift God ever gave us. Our children. We can't protect them or we just don't give a damn. That's what you need to ask yourself when you go vote. Do you care? Or do you care more about a political party or a political leader? Or do you care more about your children? And you will vote your conscience. And vote those that care for our children. And vote out those that don't care. Listen, when I was young, the NRA did a lot. It taught kids how to properly use guns and rifles. And everybody had a BB gun, but nobody was going around there killing anyone. Today, it's all about power and influence. It's about the gun lobby. Don't worry. Don't think that the solution is to arm people at schools. If you have someone coming in with 2 assault rifles and that person has a gun, they might as well just hide because they ain't going to do nothing. Lock the doors. Unless you build a bunker, that ammunition will go through any glass. All they have to do is just shoot it down and unlock the door. We don't spend money to empower and hire the best teachers we can get, or inspire teachers to really teach and to get more training and to get more education because they're going to be rewarded also besides the reward that they have for inspiring our next generation. We don't even spend money doing that, and we want to spend, and we talk about, oh, if we have armed officer, a guy with a gun, listen, you have no idea what you're talking about. We had, 100 assault rifles. We didn't even care if a police officer got in front of us with his gun, we take him out. You can't stay. It's like going to a fight with Muhammad Ali with 100-pound, 5'7", skinny runt that's never ever fought in his life, fighting Mike Tyson. No match. So it ain't the answer. Addressing mental illness, we need to do that as a nation, not because of gun violence, because we just need to help people. But that's not the answer. Putting a bunker in our schools so that our children think they're in prison is not the answer. The answer is that we become responsible parents And we vote out all those people that are just so tied to the gun lobbies. And that we elect people. No one wants to take guns out of our homes, out of our country.